Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of the Straight Talk with Kyle. And today on this episode, I have with me Maritza Maldonado. She is she is a friend. She is a good friend, and I'm honored to have her on. She is a trusted advisor and people connector. And let me tell you, she is a people connector. If you need you need something. She might know somebody in that industry or someone around that industry that she can connect you to and really help you network. So today we're going to be talking about her journey. We're going to be talking about what she was doing in the travel industry before just recently getting laid off, and how she's using that to pivot into her next opportunity and what's ahead for her. So thank you for jumping onto my podcast. I so appreciate it, Maritza. And do you mind letting people know who you are and a little bit of, your background?
Sure. Well, Kyle, thank you so much for inviting me to join your podcast. It's a true honor. And like you said, you're a good friend, and I'm glad that we're able to find a way to work together during this different time during COVID, right?
Right.
So my name's Maritza Maldonado, and I was born and raised in San Jose, but I've lived in different places, and I've worked in a number of different careers. Most recently, I was doing recruiting coordination at Expedia, and after a little over 3 years, I was laid off I was told beginning of March, but it was effective April 1st. It came kind of as a shock because we had been, the first couple of months of COVID, it was really slow because of travel not doing so well. So we weren't hiring, we didn't know what was going on. And right before COVID hit, they had done a round of layoffs. And my manager was laid off, some fellow coworkers were laid off. But I felt blessed because I made it through that layoff and tried to find ways to stay busy until we started picking up and hiring again. So once we started picking up and hiring again, I'd say it was late summer last year, we were super, super busy. And, you take that busyness and you look at it like, that's job security, right?
Right. Yeah.
But,
and then it changes. And then it changes.
Right, it changes. And I mean, the travel industry started to come back, but the problem is now you had some people that they started realizing likely made too much money for what they wanted to pay for these roles. And they came and told 4 of us that our role was being eliminated. It was being moved to India. And we were going to stay on a month to get our severance package so those other people could be trained while we did the work, and then our time was up.
Yeah. That was the thing, right, with the pandemic. How you could stay through, you could be kept through the pandemic and the height of it and everything, and watching that industry sort of tank during that time because no one would travel. Hell, I got on a plane in October and I was like, oh God, I'm on this tin can. Oh my goodness.
Right.
And I mean, I was like in the fetal position against the window. I'm all scrunched up. And I'm like, just don't sit next to me. So to see that, and then it bounced back and they still have layoffs.
Right.
Like that
Right.
feeling, what was your general feeling when that happened?
My general feeling was kind of, okay, this is strange. They're laying us off, but we're so busy. They were always complaining about how are we going to get past this busyness? How are we going to restructure the team or hire more people?
Right.
And, I went back and I started thinking about, okay, well, a few months ago, they were talking about increasing the headcount for our team in India, but not in NORAM. And we were like, okay, we kept asking questions, and maybe that was the problem. We were too inquisitive, and we were kind of ahead of the game. We kind of knew something was going on because we were like, you're showing headcount in APAC, but you're not showing any in NORAM, and nobody could ever explain anything. So
Right.
It just made me feel like the signs were there, but I wasn't picking up on it.
Yeah.
And hated that I felt like I was caught off guard.
Yeah. And so And during this pivot, this time where you're going to have to pivot, what are some of the opportunities that, or what are some of the things that you can, I guess, tell women that, when you get laid off and things of that nature, and so for some people it's a shock. For people like me, I'm like, whatever. I've always been like that. I'm like, whatever. That they sort of have that feeling of, oh no, what's next, or what's my next opportunity? How do you, as a person who is going through that next transition, what is something that you would tell someone, a woman who is really stuck in that space of, they feel hurt,
Well, I think the first thing is, I had to remind myself, this isn't my first rodeo. It wasn't my first layoff. Living in Silicon Valley, working in Silicon Valley, it's something that most of us have been through, right? So I just had to remind myself that, you know what? This just means there's another opportunity out there for me that's better. And ironically, before I got laid off, I had started planning to start doing some leadership training and growth stuff. So, ironically, my first class or first session of that was the day that I was laid off. So it was an interesting conversation with my coach, because it was like, well, I was laid off, so I guess there's no better timing for this than now. So I think that the thing we need to keep in mind is that when one door closes, another door opens, and there's so much more opportunity. And we just have to remind ourselves that go for what you want to do. Stop settling. A lot of times we take a job because we settle. I was interviewing prior to being laid off, and I was actually offered a position after I was laid off. And I could have taken it and been okay, but the hours and the days that they wanted me to work didn't work for my lifestyle. I'm like, you know what? I'm almost 50 years old. I put in my time. I'm not working my weekends. I'm not working a mid shift like 11 to 7. I might need a job, or let me put it this way. I might want a job, but I don't need a job at this moment, and I'm not going to settle. And I think finding things that will help you to focus on where your growth is and how you can make your next opportunity the best opportunity is really helpful. So finding programs to join or classes to take online. I think those are some key things to keep in mind.
Yeah, and like you said, you can want a job, but if you don't need it, and you have the option, you had that option, and and just showing for women to understand that change is an opportunity for growth, and so that's what we really have to focus on, is how do we change that mindset of I'm stuck, and how do I move forward to, okay, this happened, what's my next step? Because like you said, no door closes without another one being open, and that's a mindset. So how, just changing your mindset, and like you said, you'd already planned to do some leadership training, and you already had something in mind for the next thing. During this time of pivot for you, and you're doing your leadership training, are there any other opportunities that you have in front of you, or that you're looking to do to grow in?
Definitely. In addition to the leadership training, when I found out I was laid off, I realized over the last 3 years working at Expedia that HR is what I really wanted to do. While I was on the recruiting side of HR, I really wanted to pivot and do more of the of other aspects of HR. I was doing some of those when I was supporting the Hotwire brand for Expedia. And when we had a big transformation, all of those things that I enjoyed doing, interacting with the new employees, doing employee orientation, all of that stuff, was taken away from me, because now they really wanted us to focus on scheduling. And my job had significantly changed in the last year and a half, which kind of sucked, because it wasn't what I wanted to be doing anymore. It was something that I stayed complacent with hopes that something might open up in HR. And, I thought about getting my HR certification before, and started taking the classes, but it was during COVID. I really couldn't focus. I was tired of being on the computer all day, but I'm looking at this opportunity now is that I have time where I can really dedicate to studying for my HR certification and going ahead and getting that certificate. So there's opportunities there for us just to continue growing and to find ways to do what we really want to do and not settle anymore.
Right. Yeah. Watching your landscape change. And that's something else that, like I've talked about before is, watching your landscape change around you. And are you sitting, watching the grass get, brown and crazy, and, whatever, withered, or are you looking at the change of the landscape and the way things are colorful and just, are you moving towards that? And just how do you do that? And it's about touching base, like you said, having coaches and having other opportunities and not being afraid to take those opportunities, right? So we just need to jump in front of things, even though the train is going to hit the wall.
Right.
Are you going to stay on the train and hit the wall?
So true. But, I think one thing that we tend to forget, I think, is as women, is how important our networks are.
Yeah.
And I mean, Kyle, when you found out I was laid off, you were like, oh, we got to talk. And, just the connections that we were able to talk about and the different people in our networks and just other people, when they find out that you're laid off, it's not a bad thing. And we have to also get that across to people is that when you get laid off, it's nothing that you did. 99% of the time, it has nothing to do with what you did. It has to do with the landscape of the business. Exactly. And we have to remember that we're still badass. We're still the bomb and we can still accomplish our goals. This is just a stepping stone to get us there. But man, utilize those networks. I can't tell you how many people have reached out to me when they found out that I was laid off. What are you looking for? What types of roles? Where does it have to be? Does it have to be based in California? Can it be somewhere else? So, just keep in mind that your networks are really your net worth and they will help you get to that next level. Yeah,
I love that. Your networks are your net worth. They can help you grow and go. And like I said, people ask you about, where would you go? You cannot be afraid to get yourself up and move if that's what it takes.
And don't be afraid to talk about being laid off and to post about it. I mean, I think that has helped me significantly, posting on my personal social media pages as well as my LinkedIn page. Yeah. I've had so many people. I mean, there were people I didn't know were in HR reaching out to me saying, hey, I know that we only kickbox together, but I'm actually an HR director. And if there's anyone I can connect you with this stuff, it was just, it was just kind of eye-opening that, wow, you never really know who some people are in your personal networks. You work out with them, but you don't really know that much about them. So it was just a big eye opener. Yeah, it is. It's important to keep those lines of communication open during times of, times of, I don't say hardship. It's just a time in your life. It's a time of transition. It's a time that you're going to be moving forward. And just being able to say, I'm worth X, right, and don't settle. As some people know, I up and left my job in January, and I was okay with it because there are people who know, that what was up. But I was like, I'm going to go do what I do, and let the fear drive you, instead of keeping you in that one spot. And I think as women, we let fear stall us and keep us from moving forward. It's that fear of, oh, I don't have a job. It's the fear of, oh, where's my check? Oh, it's the fear, and y'all, you hear me say it all the time. That paycheck is a bribe to keep you coming back. So true. So true. It is a bribe. It is a bribe. It is a lie. However, yes, we need to have the income. However, you can find income pretty much anywhere, right? I mean, right. There's all kinds of side hustles we could get into and figure out what we're doing. There's contract work there, where you can utilize your skills. There's different things that, what are you passionate about? What is it that you've always dreamed of doing? This is an opportunity to look at those options and figure out like, okay, how can I move forward with this and make some money off of it?
Right. And like you said, you utilizing those networks on LinkedIn. And I've told people, including my own kids, go onto my LinkedIn and see if there's someone there that, you might want to talk to, and reach out to them. And I've done it. I've gone onto my LinkedIn and said, or, saw someone and said, hey, can I get 15 minutes of your time to ask you some questions? And that's all it is. And a lot of people will say yes. Most people will say yes, because they're willing to share the knowledge with you and share some, maybe like you're awesome at connecting people, and, you may get a contact out of that conversation that can help you into something else.
Yeah, you just never know who you're going to run across, whose path you're going to cross, who's going to be looking for something. I mean, I recently had someone call me because they found out of something I used to do in one of my past careers, because, I've done the gamut of things, and was like, I think there's an opportunity for us to work together. I'm going to send you a job description. Let's talk about this. So while I was saying I'm not ready to go back to work right away, it's an opportunity that's come across my plate, and it's something that I can look at and consider and say, okay, is this something that I want to do again?
Yeah.
Is it an area I want to go into? And, it's another possibility for me.
Right. And not be afraid to, learn something different, a new industry. I've done that. I've gone into a different role outside of HR a couple of times, and into a different industry outside of HR and, tech. And, you do it. You just, you get in there and you learn it. You just do not, stop being your own, you're in your own way. Stop being your own block.
Right.
It's like I was talking with Tiffany McNeely last episode about jumping off the cliff, scared and being fearful, and you'll figure out on the way down how to make a parachute or a mattress or something. You'll figure it out on the way.
Yep.
You're gonna hit the ground. You're gonna hit the ground a little scuffed and a little tore up, but
you're gonna make it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're more resilient than you think that you are. It's about having those, like you said, networks, having those people who are positive mindset, right? So
very true.
Yeah. So we just really, really need to reach out to one another and say, hey, I need help.
Yeah, because too many people will take, and I mean, everybody handles situations differently, right? And some people, maybe it's their first layoff or something, and they get really bummed out about it, and they kind of go under a shell, and they don't want to tell people about it. And I'm a big advocate for tell people, let people know what you're looking for. I'm all, a closed mouth doesn't get fed.
I was going to say the same.
I mean, that's one of my favorite phrases for so many reasons, because I mean, it's so true. And, there's certain things that maybe I won't ask people for, but in the end, when it comes to my career and what I want to do, I've worked hard to build these networks with people, and I need to go ahead and talk to those people. I mean, you made a reputation with these people, and you leave a footstep for them to remember you by, right? So it's a matter of saying, hey, remember we used to work together, or, something as easy as that. And most people will be like, yeah, oh gosh, you were awesome to work with, or different things like that. And we'll pass your name along to others.
Yeah. It's helpful. It's helpful. So if folks want to, talk to you, because you are, you're a great person. You're a great advocate of helping others along, or passing along a tip or a trick to someone, or, a connection. If someone wants to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
Well, thanks for the kind words, Kyle. They can reach me on LinkedIn. I'm all, yeah, let's be transparent. So there's no fluff here. That's really the kind of person I am. I'm a cheerleader for everyone. I want everyone to do good, and I want to help out anyone that I can. So If you're on LinkedIn, you can find me at LinkedIn. It's / Maritza Maldonado, and I'll make sure that Kyle has that to share with you. You can also email me. So Kyle will have my contact information to share with anyone that has any questions, any thoughts, any suggestions, any job leads, anything.
Yeah.
I'm open. If there's anything I
Right.
can help you guys with to move forward, because again, we all need to work together, and we
Yeah.
all need to cheer the next woman on, because too many times we see people being put down. There's no reason to be put down. So what? I'm laid off, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a hard worker and I'm not going to bounce back, because the bounce back, this is the test. The testimony is going to be what we're aiming for, right? That testimony. So
that's right. Yeah, I mean, like, that setback is, what's your comeback? How you come back from those setbacks? They can be dope. I mean,
right.
You could be turning down, money, or sitting back and not earning because you're afraid to get off that seat. Well, let me tell you something. If you die today, they will put a warm ass in your seat tomorrow.
For sure. For sure. Without a doubt.
No doubt. They will post that job as soon as they get you up out the damn, as soon as they remove your nameplate off the damn cube.
Yep. Yeah. So that's why I always tell people, I'm all, one, take your PTO. If you have PTO, don't sit on your time off. Take your vacation time, utilize it. If you need to max it out or whatever, go ahead and do that. But it's important for you to do that. Some states, they don't pay that out to you when you leave, right? So you have to keep that in mind. And also, if you're sick, take that time off, because at the end, your health and your well-being is what's most important. And if you don't rejuvenate with that time off, if you don't take care of yourself when you're sick, they're just going to move on to the next person anyway. So you have to think of yourself.
Right. Health is wealth. And self-care is key. I mean, we've heard that a lot over the course of the pandemic, and people really understanding. And as women, you don't want to take time off. You're like, I got to the point, I'm like, you know what? I'm taking time off. I don't care. I got to that point a long time ago. I'm taking, I always call them my one mental health day of the month. And I would take off one day out of the month. I didn't care what day it was. It was usually Friday, because y'all know I'm doing and everyone knew it was just, I was going to take off one Friday a month, and that was my mental health day. That was a day for me to recharge, not work. And I did not work. And that's, as women, especially women of color, we don't take the time. We're constantly trying to prove who we are in that workspace.
Right.
And we need to stop doing that, because your work speaks for itself.
Yep.
So I'm happy that you could come on and just share some of your experience with being, in these times of being laid off, and being encouraging to others, even though, you're doing your next thing, your next opportunity. So please reach out to Maritza on her LinkedIn, or, if you want to get other contact information, as she said before, I will happily disperse that. And, you can always tune in on Thursdays, 5 p.m. Pacific time, because y'all know I'm not doing it Eastern time. Just not going to happen. I love y'all. However, we're doing this on Pacific time.
Right.
And, you can catch me on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. What else am I missing? You can catch me out there, Straight Talk Diva. And again, thank you. I appreciate your time today, Maritza, and, just sharing, a little bit of who you are, what you do, and being so encouraging to others.
Well, thank you, Kyle.
She is she's an amazing person. Honestly and truly, she really is. And I'm thankful that she took her time out of her day to jump on and talk to you all as well. And with that, we are going to wrap. And again, reach out to Maritza on LinkedIn or myself for her email. I'll put that into the information for this. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Or have a wonderful weekend. It's Friday out here, y'all.
It's Friday.
It's Friday, but y'all gonna see this on Thursday. And so have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks again. We'll catch up soon. We've got a lot to catch up on, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Annie.
All right.
Bye-bye.